Steve, your daily shaver. This morning I'm going to shave with my Black Beauty. It's just been received from Mike King in Oshawa, Canada. Thank you, Mike. This is going to be a fun shave. Okay, this morning, Vision. This is Soap Commander Vision. Just looking for where I decided I was going to use a brush, and this morning I'm still trying to get me badger to stop losing hairs, and the colour's starting to set from the dye from the factory. But let's go and give ourselves a nice load. Now, old man Gillette, because this is the last of the generations of super speeds, this one. The Black Beauty came in two sorts, but I'll get to that. Gillette started in 1903. He started selling the razor with disposable blades, double edge. Before that, I think they were single edge, and quite often they were designed to be sharpened. There'd be some sort of gadget for sharpening them. Wow, this is getting up quite a load. Now, they made about 3 razors that I know of that were pretty much daily drivers for about the next, well, until 1934. They were the Tech, these are my Del Recos, the long comb open comb, and the short comb open comb. What changed around during that to vary the same razors was they changed the handle. Now they'd be arty, farty, or barrel and plain, depending on, because it took time to machine things that weren't, you know, square, or pretty plain. The simpler it was, the cheaper and quicker they could manufacture them. So, 1934 was the next innovation. So, in 1934, they introduced the first twist open. It was the Gillette Aristocrat. Right, Black Beauty, and need a blade. So here we go. Just using the platinum crowns, and make sure I've set it right this time to 3.5, because that's enough to get a good shave out of my slim from Del Recco. And yeah, very nice. Can't feel much in the way of blade gap at all. So, don't have an Aristocrat to show you. I'm pretty sure the Aristocrat was, the first one was a open comb. Open comb twist open. Very rare these days, most of them are bars, but yeah. So, in 1947, they brought out the adjustable super speed twist to open. Now, in 1966, I don't have one of those, in 1966, they started producing, well actually, Fat Boy and Slim. I don't have a Fat Boy, here's my Slim. In 1966, they started with the resin handles, which were these. These were predominantly produced during the 70s and 80s. They were adjustable, double edge. I think they stopped producing them about 86, although in the UK, where they were sold as the G1000 and the G2000, they were producing them until 1998, still in manufacture. I don't know whether they were sold in the UK or just, I think they were, but they were distributed overseas, so you'd find them in other markets, because about 2 billion men still shave today with double-edged blades. The disposable society is a Western invention. Hasn't taken off elsewhere. So, the Black Beauty came in 2 models. One was the short-handled Black Beauty, and the longer-handled called the Knack. I think the longer handle appealed to people with bigger hands. Certainly appealed to ladies that were starting to use the razor to shave their parts, particularly their legs. So, that's the history of Gillette. Just need to load up a bit more. And this morning I'm basically face lathering for the first time. I'm having to get what I can out of this, but I want to give this brush a bit of a hard time. So any hairs that are going to fall out. It's not a very good latherer. The brush, the soap commander's fine. I've done lathers out of it. It's just the brush that's a bit of a disappointment. Okay, for travelling, which is what I bought it for. Now, Gillette still have plants overseas, particularly in Eastern Europe, where the last ones they have, because the manufacturing costs are low, but they predominantly only produce razor blades under different brands like 7 O'Clock, Gillette, Nacette, Morora, Ruby, and Economer. Now, some of these brands have disappeared. I have not seen several of these that were mentioned on Wikipedia for a long time. But they still make a couple, they were trade names for Gillette manufactured blades. The one thing that Gillette still does, they still make a plastic razor. I'm just having a look to see if I write down the name of it. I think I've got one on the way, haven't received it yet. But non-adjustable. Now, Parker are the company that have probably the cheapest knockoffs of the old original Gillette. Tomorrow's shave is going to be with the 92R from Parker. Now, the 96 is actually was a lot more like this. I haven't got one. It's basically the same head as the 92, but it just has a long, thin handle. Neither of these are, in the Parkers, are adjustable, so they're set to what I would call a aggressive shave. Certainly, if this is a 3.5, I'd have to put the Parker at about a 6 or a 7. Capable of BBS though, with not a lot of drama. Still prefer, at 3 times the price, a good quality refurbed for another 100 years Super Slim. Whether it's a Black Beauty or just a standard Slim. I haven't got a Fat Boy yet, but I think, and what I noticed is the slightly bigger cap results in difficulty cleaning up easily under your nose. That's about the only area that I've had any sort of complication. So, I'm going to have one more clean-up pass. See if I can just scoop any more out of. So, Commander Vision's got a bit of a peppermint kind of smell. Not as strong as the Etsy goat milk peppermint that I melted into a tub up there, but yeah, you can tell that it's got a bit of that sort of scent in it. I like it, but I love the Endurance, their Old Spice knockoff. It's better than Old Spice. Complements the aftershave beautifully. This is just beard reduction. So if you're looking for a Black Beauty, but you want something that's brand new, got warranty, looks 99% the same, you might be just as happy getting yourself the 96R. If you want a heavier handle, it is being wider and heavier. This is probably about another 20% heavier. Well, 15 maybe. It's definitely heavier because it's got a brass handle. The good thing about the build quality on these, just like the Gillettes, are excellent. They are brass handles, resin finish for the grip, which is fantastic. It really, you can hold it, you don't get slippery fingers, and stainless steel parts for the cap. So quite honestly, you can buy one of these, and in 100 years' time, someone will be talking about that great company, Parker razors, and how they're collectibles. You gotta remember when Gillette came out, they were like, you know, 50p or something. I mean, pence, not, you know. Mine's bigger than yours, boys. Let her rip. Just see if I can get a little bit more out under the bottom. I'm really surprised at this badges. I can see that it's got it down the base, but it's just not staying in the actual brush. Normally, the more you agitate a badger, the more you get out of it. Not this one. So, there's good badges and bad badges. There's no such thing as the perfect badger, just better, good, better, best. Never let it rest. Until your good is better and you've done your very best. I remember Dad giving me advice like that when I was a kid. And just 1 second while I go back under here, because this is the area that I always noticed later in the day, could have done with a bit more attention. The good thing about an adjustable, you want more blade, you can get it. Just remember, if you're going to adjust the blades, you open the doors, come around to the setting, and shut the doors again. Takes the pressure off the mechanism. That's it, it's on a 5 now, and I can feel a bit more blade. Certainly not too much, nice and smooth. Yeah, definitely a 7 then, for a minimum setting for the Parker. Now I like the Parker. The Parker's well made, but the Parker can draw blood. Having said that, only if you're careless. If you're careful and you shave within the parameters of the razor using standard razor techniques, you shouldn't do too much damage and your face will eventually settle in and you'll adjust your technique. The thing about the Slims were, they really were to be honest, the Slims are probably the closest you can get to something like a Fusion, which is a cartridge. You know, it had that build and quality dialed in, and there's no denying that you can get a really good shave out of a, I'm just going to spritz under here and see if I can't reduce a bit more. So today's Friday here, you're welcome to it when I'm done with it. It's heading round your way. Last day of the week, last chance to get something done before the weekend settles in, and you know that come the weekend you're going to stop and get the bare necessities done. If you're a bloke, you're probably thinking about the lawn, gardening. In the Northern Hemisphere, of course, you're probably just like us. When it cools down, your grass slows down, and if there's one thing you like, it's not having to get out there with the mower. I've had to run a bit of water around my place. It is barely spring, and Bundaberg's as dry as a witch's tit. Now, I spritzed, which has a bit of essential oils in it, so I'll be able to do this next step without evil repercussions. Right, I knew that they'd be similar. I'd have to say that these two are identical shavers. I can actually tell no perceptive difference between them. It's basically metal handle versus the resin. And since the resin looks pretty good, I won't be painting it. I just cleaned it up with a toothbrush. And it's fine. Thank you again to Mike. So the Gillette company, I've got to say thank you very much. They still sell the Tech head, which is, this head is made with a plastic handle now, and I think it's even got a combo cap, so it's part plastic, part for protection, and pressed parts, and it's still being sold. I have one. I have a I think a cheap feather, a cheap Gillette, and a cheap something else, just so I can say I've shaved with them. They weren't very dear, 10, 15 bucks. I'll see what they're about. If they're any good, I'll chuck them in a travel kit or do it as a pay it forward to someone. If I really like it, you'll claw it out of my cold dead hands when I'm dead. I'm Steve, your daily shaver. Remember, good food, good friends, good shaves, amen. And while it's nice to be important, it's far more important to be nice. Tomorrow morning, I will be back and I'll be shaving with the 94R from Parker. And coming up in a couple of days, I'll be shaving for the first time with the Gem single edge. Dum 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 dum. Drum roll here. This is what I'm looking forward to. I've already shaved a few times with this, but I want to discuss it and, tell you the differences during a shave between today and tomorrow. I am BBS and feeling fantastic. A bit of Thayers, a little bit of Nivea, a bit of aftershave behind me, and I'm out of here. Good shaves and goodbye.